Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Mike Zakarian.
Good morning. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the NBA Bit. I'm sure everybody's a little sleepy from staying up last night to watch revenge as the Lakers and the Mavericks balled out a little bit. And I'll be honest, listen, full disclosure here, you might even hear it. We're a little congested, a little stuffed up. And your boy was, grinding through the third quarter, ready for fourth quarter basketball. And I fell asleep. I passed out. But that's all right. We grind. We watched the tape this morning. We got caught up. But more importantly, who do we have in the chit chat this morning? Boston-based first true fan. The common man trying to figure out when's the next time we're getting a Mavy triple-double. It'll be a while. Snoopaloop letting us know it's Happy National For Pete's Sake Day. That's great. Sneeps is here. Matic Auto, DJP. We got Justine in the chat. Regulator. Instead of the process, the Hornets are doing the autopsy. We'll talk about Charlotte. They record-breaking performance this last 3 nights. We got Stubbs in the chat. There we go. Jump Shooty. Good to see everybody. If you're just joining us for the first time, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. Go find our podcasts as well. And if you're returning to the channel, like the stream. Just like it. This is what we got going on today. We're going to catch up on the last 2 nights of basketball action. We'll look forward to tonight. We'll poke around in the dog and the SORARE streets. The rest of the week, this is what we got going on. Our guy, Steve Genty. Steve is overseas right now. He's in Japan. So 89 Cavs on a little bit of a hiatus. We should be back, I think, next week. So 89 Cavs. Stay tuned. Hoop Sense going into the studio today. Into the studio for Hoop Sense. We'll have a new episode coming at you tomorrow, so get ready for that. And then Friday, we'll have the NBA Bit and Live Before Lock. And at some point, probably tomorrow, schedule's been a little funky this week. We'll do a playoff best ball draft. So there we go. Oh, Pete Sake Day. All right, there we go, DJ Local. But we got to get into it. There's too many fun things we got to talk about. So let's switch these little media assets around so we can get into last night's action. Here we go. Luka's revenge. That's what we're starting with. Let's start with this. Let's start with this right here. Before we get into any of the games, let's look at some fun stuff. This is a David Portillo put together this little video here. Luka and LeBron in the fourth quarter. Let's take a look.
Truly is a show.
No, okay, come on. Right back, though. Okay. Right back to you. Okay. Give it back again. You got it? No, right back. No. Huh? Yeah. Oh, sure? Yeah. Right back. Come on now. No. Do it. Right back. Do it. Throw it to Pop. No. Right back out. Right back.
Truly is a show.
Great stuff last night from Luka and LeBron. I gotta ask, guys. If the Lakers are in the fourth quarter of a close game, do they lose? Like, are we going to see them lose close fourth quarter games as they get comfortable? I was just thinking about it. Like the matchup that, like, when the two of them, like just two brainiacs on the basketball court who can create their own shot. They can create shots for others. They can, like the 2-man game. I just feel like they are going to be a really tough team in close games. Now, they got to get to the close game. They got to get to the crunch time. But in crunch time, I can't think of a better 2 guys you want on the court, especially if they get into a good rhythm together. The other thing I wanted to show, because more importantly, I want to give Nico Harrison a shout out here, okay? Nico Harrison did show up last night, and I don't think he needed to. I don't think obviously he made the thumbnail, but this is Luka. You could tell he took that personally. Shout out Michael Jordan. This is a pregame, Luka. Just doing push-ups. I saw a jump shoot on X.com saying that was bad form. Listen, any push-up's a good push-up. That I just like incredible stuff. Oh, great point by Regulator. Will elite complaining between the two of them. That's true. That is true. But let's get to the game itself. It was a weird one early on, right? Because it felt like the Lakers were up 100 this whole time. This whole time, it felt like they were up big. And then you just kept looking at the scoreboard, and it stayed close, right? Like the Lakers outscored them by 8 in the first quarter, the lead ballooned up a little bit, and then the Mavs went on a fiery run at the end of the second quarter to bring it back to an 8-point game going into halftime. And then would you look? They won by 8 when all was said and done. Great comment by Keith Tucker in the chat, who I know is going through PTSD right now, along with the Top Shot comment man, said Kyrie and Luka would also be a great fourth quarter duo. Good call. The Lakers, let's look at this stat line. Luka came out and was hot early, and Luka didn't even shoot the ball well or a ton, but impacted the game just immediately. I was playing the underdog games last night, and I believe Luka had 28 fantasy points at the end of the first quarter. Was racking up a bunch of stocks. He finished the game with 3 steals and 2 blocks, 19 points, 15 boards, 12 dimes. Again, only 1 for 7 from 3. 6 for 17 from from the field. But excuse me, LeBron, who had like a kind of a quiet first half, in the fourth quarter when the game on the line, LeBron goes 16 points, 5 boards, 2 dimes. That's in the fourth quarter. In the fourth alone, just went off, finished the game with 27 and 12. 3 dimes as well. Kyrie for the Mavs kept this game relatively close. He had 35, 7 and 4. He had 5 stocks of his own, 3 steals and 2 blocks. PJ Washington went 0 for. We'll play the drop just for the culture, but 0 points from our guy PJ, which is tough.
PJ Washington. PJ Washington. PJ Washington.
There we go. I don't even know what you're talking about, Boston Base. PJ goes 0 for 9 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3. Did have 10 boards. Klay Thompson went 5 for 10 from 3. But yeah, Lakers get the W here. They moved to 35 and 21. And again, it's tough, right? Because you can say like, oh, it's not fair. We shouldn't grade this trade. The Mavericks are without Anthony Davis. The Mavericks are without Daniel Gafford. The Mavericks are without Derek Lively, which is all true. And the Mavericks should get credit for playing as tough as they have been so shorthanded, right? But at the same time, I do think we still have to hammer them for this trade. This was a dumb trade. There's nothing you can do to tell me this was a good trade. There really isn't. I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't understand how you give up Luka, and especially while saying like you know the health of everything, right? And then to trade for Anthony Davis is just so dumb. And I keep thinking of like, hey, maybe we'll finally stop talking about how dumb this was. And then they just find different ways for me to be reminded of how dumb this was. Like, it's just wild seeing Luka and LeBron on the court together. And again, they, 35 and 21, they're 14 games over 500, 20 and 7 at home. And, you're still like rolling out Jackson Hayes playing 17 minutes. Rui had a decent game. He had 15 and 6. Austin Reeves gave him 20 and 5, but it's a dumb trade for Mavs. Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about. It's a dumb trade for the Mavs. And again, like the Lakers are pretty thin. Vando played 14. They basically roll out like Dorian Finney-Smith, and they try to find out who's hot between Connect, Gabe, Goodwin, and Vanderbilt. But man, just a tough one for the Mavericks to swallow. I mean, again, to keep it close, sure, that's good to keep it close, but we're getting closer and closer to this playoff stretch run here, and you're going to see how tight the Western Conference is. We've got some teams that are surging right now, and I just think Dallas is in a little bit of trouble if they don't get their guys back. It sounds like Gafford still has some time before he's going to come back. Anthony Davis should be getting reevaluated next week. So maybe AD comes back. And I mean, obviously, you add an all-NBA defensive player of the year caliber player like Anthony Davis to this roster. It's a very different game, especially against a team like the Lakers, who Jackson Hayes and Rui Hachimura are going to be defending Anthony Davis. You know what I'm saying? Regulator said, for what it's worth, PJ is the only player the Hornets traded who has played better after being traded. There you go. And the common man saying, that's why my apathy for basketball is creeping in. Nico Ruggie. Yeah, Nico, the Roham of the NBA. Some are saying. But yeah, anyways, good win for Dallas. I mean, for the Lakers. We'll talk more about the standings here in a little bit when we bounce around the league. But I wanted to move to fourth quarter Ja Morant because I saw a wild stat from I think Chris Vernon shared it. Let's see, who is the guy that Sean Coleman, Stats SAC shared it. And I thought this was very interesting. We'll talk about the game in a second, but before we do that, Sean Coleman says, since per shot data began in the 96-97 season, 200 NBA players have attempted more than 10 career shots to either tie or take the lead with 2 or less seconds left in the fourth quarter or overtime of a game, regular season and playoffs. Only one of the 200 players are shooting at least 50% on those shots, and Ja Morant is that guy. Ja Morant, who had kind of a slow start to the game last night in this Suns-Grizzlies game. It looked like the Suns were actually going to get a W, and then Ja just took over late. Let me pull the box score up there. They win this one 151-148, and you see Ja Morant, look at this final line, goes 14 for 14 from the line, finishes the game with 29 and 8, did have 5 turnovers as well. You had Triple J, only played 32 minutes because we haven't seen Jaren Jackson Jr. in a while. And I don't mean foul Triple J. I mean Triple J out there fouling. But we were reminded that sometimes happens. But in those 32 minutes, he went 11 for 13 from the field, 28 and 6. Desmond Bane had 25 of his own. He also had 9 dimes. And you got Jalen Wells, the rookie, had 19 and 5. Santi Aldama was awesome. When the game seemed to be slipping away, Santi went nuts. He had 17, 6 and 5, 3 steals of his own, and Brandon Clark had 14 off the bench as well. And the Suns just gave this game away. They really did. They had it put away in the fourth. They had like a 5-point lead with, I think, like 20 seconds left or something like that. KD finished the game with 26, 8 and 7, did a lot of his work in overtime. Devin Booker absolutely murdered me last night. Finishes the game with 28 and 10. The 5 turnovers. He fouled out, and I had so much Devin Booker in the underdog, and I also cooked up at the very last second, right before the game's locked up. Actually, it was before Porzingis was ruled out. We locked up a sick pick'em. Sick pick'em over here. And look at what ended up happening. So we had Peyton Pritchard. I thought this was going to be a blowout, but instead it was Pritchard got there anyways. Pritchard over 3.5 threes. He knocked down 4. Wagner with 4 dimes. We had Ja Morant over 40 fantasy points. He gets to 46. Derek White, we moved his points up. And then Booker, 41.6 fantasy points. We needed to get to 42.55. Again, fouled out with like 3 minutes left, and the game goes to overtime. It was 25 to win, 10-80. That was brutal. But I think something to keep in mind here, whether it's SORARE or underdog or pick'ems or whatever you're doing, both of these teams aren't going to play defense the rest of the way, which is kind of interesting. I think normally when you think about the Memphis Grizzlies, they seem like the grit and grind, right? They play tough, all that stuff. But they don't care about defense. This is fast-paced basketball. So anytime you see a team like Memphis play a team like Phoenix, we're just going to get a bucket of points. The Suns now 4 games under 500 now. 4 games under 500. They just can't buy a win. They are 2-8 in their last 10. I think they've lost 4 in a row. It has just been ugly, ugly stuff. And again, like they all put up numbers. Also, Bradley Beal, by the way, is now strung together 3 or 4 really good games since moving back into the starting lineup. He finished the game at 24 and 11. Wanted to give him a little bit of shout outs, but man, just some ugly, ugly stuff. And Triple J is going to win Defensive Player of the Year. It's common man. He had over 5 rebounds, so tough scene for your rebound hatred. Dyson Daniels, by the way, I think is moving up in the DPOY conversation a little bit. But anyways, good win for the Grizz. They now, what did I say their record is now? 38-20, trying to keep pace there for the 2nd seed. Phoenix, I mean, like the KD stuff is over. I imagine he's on another team. I think a fascinating conversation this offseason. We talked about it a little bit on that Buckets and Tea episode. Fascinating conversation this offseason is how much is Kevin Durant going to be worth in basketball sense, because it does seem like he's going to be on a different team, and I don't know what kind of leverage Phoenix has because the vibes are so bad. So I don't really know. Is it just 1 first-round pick? Like, what do you think the cost of KD will be this offseason? An unprotected first, a protected first with some pick swaps? Are players going to be involved? But the Suns are pretty hamstrung. I mean, Matt Ishbia came in. I saw an interesting report yesterday from a Phoenix insider that came out and said that prior to Matt Ishbia's arrival, Phoenix was trying really hard to go get Kevin Durant. And one of the offers that were on the table was it was one of Mikal Bridges or Cam Johnson with some picks. They weren't going to give up both. Matt Ishbia buys the team, comes in and immediately says, let's give it all up. And here we are. And now, again, they grabbed some picks together and didn't really they traded away their last good unprotected first round pick. And they've just done a lot of weird moves, and they're in trouble. This run is over. And I honestly kind of feel bad for Booker. I mean, I know there's some Booker hate in the chat, but Booker's been nothing but loyal to this team and has played his ass off. They got to one finals, broke it up, and here's what you got right now. KD for Embiid. I don't think that's happening. Guards only win Defensive Player of the Year once every 25 years. Shout out my boy Marcus Wicked Smart, right? Anyways, that's enough of fourth quarter Ja Morant. Let's move on to playoff believers, because there were a couple of teams that I wanted to talk about that are, hanging around here, One of them is Golden State. So the Charlotte, let's read off this Charlotte Hornets stat first. I gotta find it. Guy Nate Duncan tweeted this out last night with here we go. Well, let's see. Wow, he tweeted a lot. Okay, he said the Hornets have done it. The worst 3-game stretch in league history. And they did it with 18 points to spare in a 36-point loss to the Warriors, right? So they got smoked 3 consecutive games. No LaMelo in this one. Golden State improves to 31-27. The Hornets stay with 14 Ws. Their high-scoring guy last night was KJ simping for Simpson with 16 points. He was a minus 30. Who else got into double figures? You see Mark Williams there. You see Seth Curry, Wendell Moore Jr. Just ugly, ugly stuff from Charlotte. The Warriors, however, look at no starter played more than 25 minutes last night. The Pod God went for 10 and 5. Steph had 15, 6 and 4. Draymond 15, 6 and 6. He also had 5 stocks. Jimmy Butler 6, 8 and 5. No one needed to do anything. But I brought this up because, one, it's fun to watch Golden State. To watch Charlotte be terrible. But I wanted to go over to the standings and just kind of poke through a couple of teams, because we won't talk about it too in depth. But Minnesota had a very impressive win. I think it's hard to beat a team in 2 consecutive games. And it was funny that both road teams won. But on Monday, OKC played Minnesota. On Sunday, OKC beat Minnesota in Minnesota, and then on Monday, Minnesota beat OKC in OKC. But when we look at this Western Conference, right, and we see let's do let's do from the 6th seed down. The Clippers, who play tonight against the Chicago Bulls with Kawhi back in action in Chicago. I mean, Vooch isn't playing right now either, so Chicago is a real tough scene. But you see the Clippers right there have a half-game lead over they are tied. They are tied right now with the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Golden State Warriors, who have now won 4 in a row, 7-3 in their last 10, are only a half game back now of both Minnesota and the Clippers. So Steve Kerr on record saying their goal was to get out of the play-in into the top 6, and they are now sniffing that right now. Then you have the Mavericks, who are 5-5 in their last 10, which is honestly very impressive considering how many guys that are out right now. They've lost 2 in a row. They are a half game back behind the Warriors. And then you've got the Kings, who are a game behind the Mavs, who Levine went absolutely bonkers the other night in garbage time in a win against Charlotte, I believe. They now are 29-28. And then the Suns are toast, right? The Suns are now 2.5 games back behind the Kings with 20-something games left. So I kind of wanted to say, from that 6-10 range, right? Is there anybody that you think can win a playoff series? So out of the Clippers, the Timberwolves, the Warriors, Mavericks, and Kings, put in the chat which team you think could win a playoff series. Not the play-in, but a first-round playoff series of those teams. Because I am pretty intrigued right now by the Golden State Warriors, mainly because if they're healthy, I wouldn't want to play Steph Curry in the first round, right? And I'll just while you guys put that stuff in the chat. The Suns, who are the 11th seed, we're not really counting. They have the tough. Not only are they just getting smoked right now, they have the toughest schedule the rest of the way out. The Kings, who are the 10th seed, have the second toughest schedule on the rest of the way out. The Clippers, who are the 6th seed, have the 7th toughest schedule the rest of the way out. And then Golden State, 21st. most challenging. Minnesota, the second easiest schedule the rest of the way. Regulators saying Rockets Lakers first round could be fun. That could be a fun one. Mavs OKC is going to bring you back. There you go. Regulators saying the Wolves. Keith saying Golden State. Justine saying Golden State. Yeah, I was looking at it, right? I still think, like, I know Dallas, both Dallas and Minnesota seem to give OKC a lot of problems. I kind of think that, though, like, both of those teams could be very, very dangerous in the first round. But I think part of the reason it does feel like those teams could win a first round series, right, is like all of these teams are fallible here. Whether it's the Memphis Grizzlies, who, Ja Morant, we were just singing his praises, but he's really had an up and down year this year. Can he stay healthy? Denver, who has been really red hot, right? But the Lakers, they have flaws, right? If the Lakers go up against a real big team, although we saw them give Jokic fits, I could see them being in trouble. Houston, 4-6 in their last 10. They got a win over Milwaukee, which we'll talk about in a second, but they're beatable. The Clippers, I don't know, man. I feel like Minnesota, because I guess let's take this a step further. Can any of those teams, the Clippers, Timberwolves, Warriors, Mavs, win 2 playoff series, or are they limited there at 1? The Timberwolves are interesting because Jaden McDaniels has taken a real leap offensively. I believe he's averaging like 18 and 8 over his last 10 games. We already know, like, he's an incredible wing defender, right? But he's now up the offensive game. Julius Randle, shout out regular season Randle, he should be back soon. I mean, Minnesota's also been staying afloat without Rudy, who's missed like 4 games in a row. The Warriors, I do like, and the Mavericks. Like, listen, I know the Mavericks traded away Luka, third, fourth best player in the world right now. But if Anthony Davis and Gafford come back, that is a formidable defensive team that I would not want to play in the first round. So I do think we might see some weird shit in the first round of the playoffs. Again, I still think it goes pretty chalky. I still think OKC should be okay no matter who they play as an 8 seed, even if it is a Minnesota or a Dallas. I do think a series like Memphis versus Golden State, or Memphis versus the Clippers, Memphis versus the Wolves, I think all of those would be pretty interesting, but Memphis would still be favored. I don't think Denver loses to any of those teams if they fall into the 6 seed, whether it is the Clippers, the Wolves, the Warriors, the Mavericks, the Kings. I still feel like Denver wins those matchups, but I do think we're gonna see some weird stuff. DJP saying OKC first round exit. We'll be there. Wolves have a better chance to win a series than the Knicks do. That is the kind of take that I love, because I also kind of think the Bing Bong Boys of New York are in trouble. Let's do playoff believers over in the Eastern Conference. You see the Cavs and the Celtics, whatever. We're not going to talk about them. I also don't really want to talk about Atlanta, Miami, or Chicago, or Brooklyn, because I think Brooklyn might catch Chicago right now. Brooklyn, low-key, 7-3 in their last 10. A third of Brooklyn's wins have come in their last 10 games. That's a crazy stat. A third of Brooklyn's entire season, their win total the entire season, has come in the last 10 games. That's crazy. I don't really want to talk about 8 through 11, though, okay? On the East, though, I do think if the Magic, I want to believe that the Magic could win a playoff series if they got healthy. I know their offense has been stuck in the mud, but Jalen Suggs looks like he's coming back soon. If it's not the next game, it's probably within the week, right? But I don't think they could beat the Celtics or the Cavs in the first round. I don't think they could. But now you look at the 3 through the 6, right? Knicks, Pacers, Bucks, and Pistons. Are we believing in what Detroit is doing right now? 32-26, winning a ton of games, right? 8-2 in their last 10, winners of 7 in a row. They actually get a nice test tonight. Boston is on a back-to-back. They play the Celtics tonight. And yeah, Maddie, this is what I was just going to point out right now. So Detroit's pretty much locked in to the top 6 seed, but it is not out of the question. The Bucks lost last night. They are a half game out of playing a 5 seed, being a 5 seed, and only a game out of being a 4 seed. And I believe the Pacers play the Raptors tonight, so they should get a W. But I don't know. I feel like, all right, are you taking the Knicks over all three of those teams in a first round, because the Knicks could very well play the Pacers, the Bucks, or the Pistons. Are there any team you're taking over the Knicks right there of those three? So one more time, the Knicks, say they get the 3 seed. I feel like they will. Are you taking say the Bucks play the Knicks in the first round? Are you taking the Bucks? Are you taking the Pacers? Or are you taking the Pistons? Because I was listening to the Batch Bros yesterday. Shout out Nez and John, and I guess Overzet. Overzet was also talking hoops yesterday. And there seems to be a common sentiment that the Pacers aren't real. I disagree. I think Indiana is a legit good team right now. I do think they have their flaws, but so do the rest of those teams. Let's see. I want to check something here. Let's look at the Pacers record in their last 30 games. Pacers okay, they're 14-6 in their last 20, 19-13 in their last 32. The Pacers have like legit been playing very good basketball lately. Halliburton has kind of like strung together 10 to 15 game stretch. Siakam looks nice. Turner's healthy. They just got Aaron Nesmith back. They've turned into a better defensive team. I would not be pumped to play the Pacers. Listen, this is how I would rank those 4 teams right now. I think the Pacers are the best team of those top 4. I think I would take Indiana, and then I think I would take New York, and then I would take Milwaukee, and then I would take Detroit if I have to in a 7-game series. The one thing about Detroit that I do want to point out, that I do think there is one little bit of ceiling that could get unlocked with the Pistons in the playoffs. If Asar Thompson all of a sudden starts playing 38 to 40 minutes in a playoff game, that elevates their defense to a level that we haven't seen. Asar Thompson definitely has some offensive flaws right now, but they have been keeping his minutes pretty much in check all season long. If they are able to rip that Band-Aid off and let him go in the playoffs, I do think that potentially unlocks a ceiling for Detroit. They will be relying a little too much on Malik Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr. for my liking. However, I do think at some point I have to look in the mirror and reevaluate how I feel about Malik Beasley, because he has been incredible this year as a shooter for that team. I think like the Knicks are the most talented team there, but the Knicks there's too much discourse right now in New York about how like they just need Mitchell Robinson back and then everything's fine. But like Mitchell Robinson would be a nice addition, but like let's pump the brakes. Let's pump the brakes on what we're saying about our old Mitch Rob here. But the Knicks are playing their guys like 75 minutes a game, right? And I am just nervous that OG Anunoby, who the king of the soft tissue injury, is he going to be like just coming off of one? Is he going to be ready to play full playoff minutes? Josh Hart, who's been basically averaging 38 minutes a game. Jalen Brunson, Cat, like they don't play defense and they play a ton of minutes. So and they haven't beaten good teams yet. So all of that to say, I do think the Knicks will be a favorite no matter who they play in their first round series, but I do think the Knicks are beatable. And when looking at underdog playoff best ball, I think there's some value in attacking these Pacers and Pistons that because the Bucks and Knicks are overpriced, because I think everybody's assuming they're going to win a couple of games. Guys, I don't think the Bucks are good. I don't trust Milwaukee. They're without Bobby for like another 20 games, right? They made that trade for Kuz, whatever. Lost a tough one to Houston last night. I don't know. I think if we really zoom out, the East is, and this isn't a hot take, but the East is going to come down to Cleveland versus Boston. I don't see and a lot of people are like, we got to wait to see Cleveland do it in the playoffs. I think Cleveland and Boston are clearly the top 2 best teams in the Eastern Conference. I think the Magic is for the Celtics to have to take on a Magic in a first round series, that's a bruiser series. The Celtics should win in 5, but the Magic will beat the shit out of them physically. I don't think that's going to be a fun 5 games. But Cleveland will have no problem with Atlanta, Miami, Chicago, or Brooklyn. I think even in the second round, I think they match up fine against the Bucks. I think they match up fine against the Pacers and fine against the Knicks. I don't think they'd have a problem there. Same thing with the Celtics, whoever they'd play in the second round. I think this clearly goes Cleveland to Boston. That would be my guess. Tesla said if the Knicks are healthy, they will win in the playoffs. Pacers' depth won't matter. Tibbs treats the whole regular season like it's the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, but that's usually why they get into a little bit of trouble. That's why they get into a little bit of trouble. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Hold on. We've got some breaking news. Where are my Top Shot bros at? Where are my Top Shot bros at? Let's change this up. Shout out. Let's go like this. Let's go like this. Here we go. One more time. Everybody's feeling fine. Top Shot article on the ringer.com. We are so back. We are so back, baby. Hold on. Let me share the link here. Inside the spectacular rise and fall and rise again of NBA Top Shot on the ringer.com. Shout out Leo Sepkowitz. Oh, I'm so excited to read this. I am so excited to read this. Posted 37 minutes ago. I love this. This is so good. So good. All right, we'll get back to this later. We'll have to do a deep dive. Maybe we'll do a read along. We haven't done a dramatic reading in a while. Maybe we do some quotes, but the ringer.com. Let's see. LOL, we got to tweet this out. Let's tweet this out. I'm sure it's going to be good. I'm sure it's going to be good. I have a feeling it's not going to come off great. All right. Anyways, let's go back over to what we were doing here. Sorry, I got distracted. Shout out our guy. I'm not even going to tell you who sent it to me. Shout out our guy who sent it to me. Let's go around the league. Let's catch up on some of the stuff that we missed out on yesterday. What other games? Let's talk about that Houston-Milwaukee game. Really tough Amen Thompson foul. Pretty hard foul yesterday. He got a little double T. He got ejected in that one. He got ejected in the game, but it was a little late for the Bucks. They lose this one 197. Giannis did have a good game, though. Giannis went for 27 and 10. Minutes starting to tick up, right? He was on a minute restriction for a little bit. 27 and 10 in 32 minutes. Dame was kind of rough. He finished with 22 points, but it was a very quiet 22. And then they got a total of 21 bench points last night. So pretty ho-hum stuff, right? Pretty ho-hum stuff. I think, oh God, I just don't trust this team. No Fred VanVleet in this game. He's going to miss another 2. Jalen Green had 25. You had Sanger had 23 and 11. You had Amen Thompson with 9-9-6, a couple blocks and a steal before he got booted. Houston needed that win. 14 games over 500. Bucks drop another one. Cleveland just beat the hell out of Orlando. They won by 40. I don't even know what to say here. We're not going to cover it. And then you get the Pellies. They won 109-103. Spurs tank officially on. Vassell had 20. Just ugly. It's ugly stuff. Zion only 18 and 6 in this game. Trey Murphy got hot in the second half. He had 24. Kelly Olynyk. This is gross. We shouldn't even be talking about these games. And then let me just make sure I didn't miss anything on Monday. Pistons got that win over the Clippers. Clippers were without Kawhi and Norm. Denver, Nikola Jokic had 19 dimes as they beat the Pacers. And then that Minnesota OKC game. That's kind of it. So there you go. There you have it. That's the breakdown. We'll go into some of tonight's stuff here. Let's get a feel for the schedule for tonight. Tesla said Cleveland with a great deadline move. The type of move OKC should have made. Is Caruso the most overhyped move in a while? You know what, Tesla? I'm treating Alex Caruso this season like the Celtics are treating Drew Holiday. I'm going this season. I'm going to wait and see in the playoffs. I have a feeling Caruso's minutes are going to get unlocked in the playoffs. So we'll wait and see. If Caruso all of a sudden starts playing 28 minutes and locking down the best perimeter guy in playoff series, then it's a different conversation. But it seems like they are handling him with kid gloves at this point. But that's good point. Good point by you, though. It has been a little disappointing. I mean, honestly, Hartenstein hasn't been doing too much either. Basically, TikTok and Robinhood Sports. Is that a link from the? Is that a link? I mean, a quote from the story. I need to read the story. Hold on one second. All right, let's get into tonight. Let's get into tonight here. So we got Celtics and Pistons. Low-key going to be a fun one. Weird thing happened last night. Celtics beat the Raptors by 10, I believe. Porzingis got ruled out actually he got ruled out after the game had started. Apparently he wasn't feeling well and wanted to make sure he was ready for tomorrow. It was just, that's a quote from Missoula after the game. So it sounds like Zinger's going to go. So this is what I ask you. Celtics are 4.5-point favorites, okay? Do you think that is just the line because the Celtics are on a back-to-back and they are on the road, traveling from Toronto to Detroit, and that's just a normal line? Or is Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum missing tonight's game? I can't tell. I kind of think we might get a JB Q tag around 11:30 a.m. today. We got Raptors against the Pacers. I think this one's going to be a fun one. I know the Pacers are favored by 10.5. Raptors on a second end of a back-to-back, 233.5-point total. Halliburton is questionable, but Raptors, after playing the Celtics, I think will be happy to play the Pacers. A little change of pace, if you will. Jakob Poeltl might be back. I don't know. He missed last night's game. Bing Bong Boys against the 76ers. 76ers are ass, man. There's just nothing even fun to talk about with Philly anymore. It's just a tough scene. Vibes are bad. I'm assuming no Embiid in this one. Karl-Anthony Towns also has a question mark, though. And I was thinking about this. If we assume no Embiid, even with Maxey and Paul George, if the Knicks are fully healthy, wouldn't they be like 13.5-point faves? I mean, the Bulls beat the shit out of them the other night. You got the Portland Trailblazers against the Wizards. That'll be a fun one. Hawks and Heat. Heat are favored by 2.5 now. Bam Adebayo is questionable, but I think he's going to go. A lot of Khalil Ware, a lot of Andrew Wiggins, a lot of Tyler, I need a hero. OKC's favored by 17.5 against the Brooklyn Nets. Just ugly stuff. Clippers and Bulls in Chicago. And then only 2 late games. You get Sacramento and Utah Jazz, Spurs and Rockets. These games suck, man. Celtics Pistons, the best game for sure. I don't want to watch any of the other games. Maybe Hawks Heat will be fun. These are some gross games tonight. Some gross stuff, but that doesn't mean we're not going to bet on it. No Jock, I would say. He's the key to the Raps, keeping the top 5 seed. Yeah, maybe. In any case, some of the company's problems have read less like a moral quandary and more like a PR crisis. At Top Shot, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Oh, was that our guy Packrip? Or Dumbo? No, Dumbo's still there. Who else used to work there? I mean, name the names. We should do an in memoriam of people who used to work at Top Shot. Time Lord, remember Time Lord? Who else? Could be Feldman, our guy Feldman. Janie, remember Janie? Man, I can't wait to read this article. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's go get no, Steve's still there, baby. Let Steve cook. Let Steve cook. Let's go get some underdog picks up in here. We had a decent night last night on the dog app. We've had a couple of good nights in a row, actually. You see, we took down 28 there. All right, let's see this one. So we came in 20th place, I think, in this one. We had a KD. Wait, am I sharing screen? Yeah, KD, Kyrie lineup. So I didn't have a ton of Kyrie, thankfully, in this one. We had Ja Morant, Trey Murphy, Bane, Derek White. Derek White was awesome last night. White and Bane. I wanted to see, oh, my God, full game stack. Luka. Wow. Oh, Luka, Ja, Booker. So, wow, how did he get Luka and Booker together? And then he must have pulled up. Wow, that's a wild lineup. Full game stack with Luka, though. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Congrats to Johnny Footballs. But anyways, yeah, decent night last night. Let's see. It doesn't look like we have any special gifts. Nothing to see here. Anybody got some hot takes for tonight? The reason I thought that maybe we see, Nez pointed this out too, maybe we see no Jaylen Brown tonight. No props for JB. No props for JB tonight. Wow, Cade's line is 28.5 points. That's crazy. I cannot wait to check these out. I love this. Man, I need to read this. Fleo went live yesterday? I missed Fleo? Yes, I did jump shoot. You probably saw me reply to his tweet. Flooding the Top Shot market with new moments. Oh, my God. This is great. 13 new moments for each buyer. It was 63-1. Oh, man. God, well, the Top Shots. Let's play the video, dude. Actually, let's do a pick'em. Let's do a pick'em here. Let's do a pick'em, and then what we're gonna do, because I want, if people hate this stuff, they can leave. But what I'm gonna do, we're gonna create a pick'em. We're gonna play the video, and then we're gonna go look at this article. We're gonna have a nice little time. All right, let's see. I'm going to take some Duren unders. Duren unders is going to be my first pick there. Celtics kind of dominate bigs, so I like the Duren unders. Let's go Brunson. I think Brunson's going to score 30 tonight because I think maybe Cat doesn't play. And if that's the case, wow, 32.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Holy shit. There was another. I kind of like RJ tonight. Wait, what's IQ's numbers? 25. Let's do that. There we go. 7.5x. This is what we're going to do. IQ 25.5. Brunson, we moved up to 30. IQ 26.5. Did I miss anything in the chat that you guys wanted to do? All right, let's do it. We're going to enter this. If you guys want to follow along, go for it. But in the meantime, yeah, let's check out this Ringer article, shall we? Let's check out the Ringer article. Let's do this. We'll share that. You know what I'm going to do? Let's play the video. I'm going to put the headphones on because I want to hear the video. Let's get the Team Hold theme song. We're going to be doing some NBA Top Shots.
Well, the Top Shot streets are a dangerous place, so you better tune in to a credible face like this one. Yeah, this one. And you know he's not alone, and they're coming in hot. We got a Lake so Stan and a guy who really likes baseball. I don't know why he likes baseball. We got legs and a guy in a bear suit. We're making money on YouTube clips, big ticket flips. We got potential to grow. Teams in the NBA. What else can I say? You gotta get in the know. Even Washington's inside game. Live talking flag. Why are you selling so low? Those Canadian bacon and friends. Fun never ends. Come on and get on the show. Team Hold, Team Hold, Team Hold, Team Hold. Freaking out enough. Why not lose my mind? What is happening? This is not financial advice.
All right, let's go. I love we got an OTM sighting in there. Oops, I forgot that I was sharing the screen. This way, let's get over here. Actually, let's do it like this. Let's live a little here. Let's go. No, not that one. Not that one. Share this over on, oh, come on. Share this over on x.com on the Twitters, just in case anybody else wants to join here. This is going to be good. We're going to just try to pull out some quotes. So this is the title Inside the Spectacular Rise and Fall and Rise Again of NBA Top Shot. This is going to be fun. Let's just look for some fun quotes here. Here we go. 5-second video of LeBron James dunking a basketball on February 22, 2021. This clip sold for $208,000. That's great. It marked the high sale on a record day, during which 47.88 million worth of similar video clips called Momies, own the Momies, were traded. James Wiseman, we got Wiseman right there. A clip of Ben Simmons sold for, I like that we're calling them clips, sold for $20K. Goran Dragic, shout out LG Doucette. What's up, everybody? It's been so long since we've heard that. $30K Zion moments, just incredible stuff. That paying. Let's go. Devotees were certain that this was a new frontier, myself included, that paying $13,678 for a clip of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope finishing a runner in the lane represented a fleeting chance to get in on the ground floor early. Skeptics saw of House of Cards, not the future of them. I love this because I think it's okay for me to make fun of this aggressively because this was me. This is me. So this is fine, but man, it does paint a picture of just feeling like a big old dumbass. Somehow both groups are right. I want some quotes here. Let's find some quotes here. Then Top Shot's bubble burst in spectacular fashion. In a flash, prices began to fall, and the company found itself ensnared in workplace drama and entangled in a legal battle with distressed users. Meanwhile, you savvy crypto bro traders rolled out in search of the next big thing, leaving the bottom shots and its user base twisting in the wind. From its manic high to its steep fall, Top Shot's arc seems like a classic boom bust tale in an era with so many. But then its story, it's not so neatly canned. Its rise provoked larger questions about the sketchy state of sports fandom, the tussle between sentimentality and progress, and the reasons we value things that we do. And its fall, well, it's complicated. 40 years on, Bottom Shot is still here, still fighting to reclaim its good name and cultural standing. Let's get a Roham quote. We wanted to be a sustainable part of the fabric of the league. I think 100% we can be, and we will be. He sounds like that sounds like somebody running for president of the United States in the show The Boys. We wanted to be a sustainable part of the fabric of the league. I think 100% we can be, and we will be. Let's find some other stuff. I don't want to talk about crypto kitties. Let's go. Here we go. This was the quote regulator shared earlier, right? Let's see. Top Shot is a live wire. Its app seductively blends everything. Basically, TikTok and Robinhood, Sports Center and Blackjack. It moves at the speed of today's impulsive sports fan. Moments, those signature clips, can be traded 24/7 on Top Shot's secondary market. They're also available in packs, which typically run for $9 for those commons. Commons. $24 for a guaranteed rare and $230 for a guaranteed, let's put it in quotes, legendary, and up to $14.99 for special editions. The platform runs on the blockchain, which allows for certain perks unique to NFTs. Two stand out: that users can view real-time data on resale values. I was hoping they were going to shout out Floaty somewhere in here. Let's actually do a Control F Floaty. No, Floaty didn't make the cut. Damn. All right, let's find some other stuff. On the surface, Top Shot seems like an absurd distortion of memorabilia. In theory, collectibles ties to sports history. All right, we need to find some quotes, baby. We need to find some quotes, Leo. All right, here we got a Jacob quote. As kids get older, are they going to want to collect cards and put them in shoeboxes, or will they want to flaunt them on social media? Says Jacob, an early Top Shot hire and its current chief of staff. Are they going to want to bring them around in their pocket or on their app? Okay, I do love this. I love this. This is a good quote. Shout out our guy Jacob. One thing I do like though is like, listen, I don't want to be the right click download bro, but I mean you could take a photo of your hard collectible, and then carry that around in the same way. Also, man, who are the people being like, dude, you see this Top Shot app, bro? You see this Top Shot app? Look at this fucking NFT. An NFT, bro. All right, let's keep going. Let's find some stuff. Shout out Jacob, though. There we go. Wow, I could have just scrolled down. We get that shit in bold. All right, we're talking about some COVID in there. Oh, this is Jesse Schwartz. Shout out Jesse. He's lost a lot on this, right? When I first got on Top Shot, the idea of buying a digital collectible was insane. Even for $20, says Jesse, who signed up that August and would later lead a group of buyers on a 208K Ja Morant moment. Woo! Count me among the disbelievers. While researching this story, I discovered that Top Shot had offered me access via email in October 2020. Okay, Leo's a real one, when the public was first invited. But like many others, I had no interest in stepping out on that limb. The platform just drew just north of 2,000 unique buyers that first October, and only about half that the next month. Then strange things began to happen, and many of those played into the hands of Dapper Labs. All right, so that's talking about the rise of Dapper. We need some more quotes here. I've got Elon Musk citing. Let's find, man, this is a deep-ass article. Look at this. In Top Shot's earliest months, new packs might languish on the digital shelves for days before being purchased. By January 2021, says O'Keefe, at the NBA, there was a pack drop, and I went in after a couple hours, and it was gone. Site was down. Things had crashed. I was like, oh, no. From there was an absolute rocket ship. Let's see what else we got. I want to find, all right, Ernest. We shout out Ernest, Top Shot user. Shout out Ernest. Who's Ernest? Picking up these virtual moments. It's not real. You can't touch it, but it made you feel so good. I couldn't sleep. I was running on that pure dopamine. Man, we were so broken, bro. I started collecting Top Shot NFTs, and I didn't realize they were NFTs, said Ja Rule. Ja Rule. Oh, Ja Rule was quoted. Man, when you go through history, there are so many different times that Ja Rule gets quoted, right? 9/11, NFT. Some call this the Web3 9/11, right? Who later sold 122,000 NFT commemorating the phony Fire Festival, which he co-founded. I just thought they were like the digital news sport cards. It's incredible. Stephen A. Smith campaigned to have his jumper memorialized on the Top Shot Marketplace. There we go. Third-party sites sprang up. Oh, they said third-party, but no floating. You could buy anything. It was going up by multiples an hour, says early user Phil. He requested to have his last name withheld due to privacy concerns. Phil. He says he turned $27 into $16K. Woo! White hot fire. Oh, here we go. Look at this. Look at this timeline. Dogecoin. We got a Dogecoin sighting. There we go. That's great. Let's see. Anything else we can get in here? Loud City Collective. Loud City Collective tweet shout out. Let's go. Thunder up, baby. Mr. Thunder only has one Top Shot moment, and it's a memorable shot to be the shot clock in the Western Conference Final. There we go. Halliburton didn't want to get quoted in this one. Cole Anthony got into collecting through Terrence Ross. Terry Rozier, Damian Lee. Let's go. Remember Josh Hart, too? Josh Hart, I showed Zion the price of how many people are selling his moments, and a lot of them were putting astronomical numbers there. Hart said at the time, he's like, what the fuck? There we go. Good Josh Hart quote there. Let's see. The NBA itself relish in the moment, too, is usually an unusually tense time for the league. Ticket sales had evaporated during the pandemic, and amid an ongoing feud with China, the NBA had reportedly missed its revenue goal by $1.5 billion. Top Shot was a much-needed hit. All-Star Weekend approached in 2021. The NBA announced the Rising Stars rosters on Top Shot. On ESPN, Kendrick Perkins opened a pack live with Hart's assistant and pulled a moment that was selling for $8,800. I'm glad Perk got a W. Then KD, there we go. We got a KD sighting. Sighting. Yo, it's KD. Mark Cuban sighting. To change the game, all one had to do was spend $37,500 on Rui. Over at Dapper Labs, the race was on to meet demands. There were still early hectic days of startup. The pace was a lot to deal with, says Roham. In a matter of weeks, Top Shot's user base went from 2,500 to 400K. Okay, come on. We gotta find some other quotes. When I talked to sports collectors during that time, they told me, look, I can't jump in right now because it's clearly a bubble. And they were right. A Joe Ingles shovel pass for 10K. Al Horford block for 11. Woo! Problematically inflated. There we go. Problematically inflated. Let's see what else. All right, so Leo got it finally in March of 2021. Top Shot did $13.3 million when he got access. The next day, $8 million and $6 million. So he got in. The day he got in was the peak. There you go, Leo. I want to find some good. Robert Fink quoted some rough days in the Discord. This is people's monies that you're talking about here. And a lot of conversation shifted from the product and talking basketball to how is Top Shot going to save my bags? Oh, we got an NFT. As NFT NYC approached in November 2021, for instance, staffers were told quickly to pull together a star-studded party at any expense. Several $100,000 later, we had Quavo and Ja Rule at Terminal 5. I remember being there. That's when I should have known. When I saw Ja Rule, I should have said, let me see if I can get my old job back. That's an incredible quote, guys. That is an incredible quote. That's when I should, when I saw Ja Rule, I should have said, let me see if I can get my old job back. Oh, that's such a good quote, man. Oh, that is great. Yeah, dude. Also, Justin was there. Quavo, what was so good about this, and I don't know if Justin remembers this. I can't remember if it was Justin or Steve called it out, but we were there, and Quavo was rapping and performing with his hands in his pocket, right? I remember notably us talking about that it was a daytime performance with his hands in his pockets. Remember when people there had no idea who John Starks was? Yeah, that's peak. That was the peak, baby. No, I don't even want to speculate too, because I'm not trying, because I talked to too many people after after they left. I don't even want to. I don't want to speculate who that could be. That's not fair. They wanted to stay anonymous, but you guys can speculate. Got to put your hands somewhere. All right. What's Talladega Nights. That's what I was thinking of. All right, let's see. Let's see if we can find. By then, the stability of the company was in question. More than a dozen former employees from various departments and seniority levels spoke to the Ringer for this story under the condition of anonymity. Collectively, they describe a frantic startup. Yeah, of course. Some point the finger at Roham. Always an archetypal tech founder looking to move fast and break things. He seemed to grow only more aggressive and demanding as the Top Shot market cooled. How he talks to people, what time he talks to people, what he expects of people. He was relentless and he was omnipresent. Some feel that he went too far, creating an environment of fear and panic and obsessiveness, according to the former staffer, where impulsive decision-making is in chronic staff turnover. One note on Roham that I know our guy, oh, there we go, Tesla. There we go. There was, Dustin told this story, but when he interviewed, remember when they offered him a job? So Dustin, I hope he's okay with me telling the story. I mean, he told it on stream. Dustin interviewed at Top Shot in like right near the, I think like towards the beginning of the descent. And they they offered him the job and then he never heard back. Like they were negotiating salary and then they ghosted him. And then I think Dave Feldman ended up getting the job. Shout out Dave Feldman. We love Dave. But they just like ghosted Dustin. But what I will always remember Dustin telling the story of him. He had to have, I think, 1 or 2 phone calls with Roham, but one of them, Roham was like clearly, I think, like on speakerphone in the car, and then he was like putting groceries away. Like it was just a very like weird interview. But anyways, let's keep going. He created such a dynamic of rapidness and fear in individuals that he had everyone wrapped around his finger at all times, and he would leverage that. He wants to strike fear in you. Yeah, I mean, he struck so much fear in Weisberg this weekend at All-Star Game weekend, right? When told of how some former employees describe his approach, he does not quite shy away. He participated in 2 video interviews with the Ringer last year in February and November. I think the intensity level was appropriate, and I think we are still a very intense workplace, and that's kind of what you need to succeed. I always take full responsibility over any negative experiences. Anything I want to do Control F truckload. Nope. All right. Nope. Oh, shit, I lost my spot. Did I lose my spot? I was seeing if we could have a truckload in there. All right, sorry, let me scroll back down. Let's see. God, that quote is still so good. When I saw Ja Rule, I wanted my job back. In April 2022, a $1 million credit giveaway was greenlit in the middle of the night while most employees slept. Staffers awoke feeling alarmed but not surprised by the news. That's what it was every day, says a former employer. That's the kind of shit that was happening all the time. Let's see. Stable marketplace. We decided how much the economy was pushed with new inventory, says a former staff. We were the Federal Reserve and Fort Knox. We decided it all. It's kind of fucked up. We got a Flash Challenge shout out. On Christmas Day in 2021, users were tasked with collecting the 5 leading scores from the holiday when Nets guard Patty Mills scored 34 points against the Lakers, vaulting him among the days later. It had been selling for $4, then $40, reached a high water mark of $130. Incredible. Flash Challenge stuff is credible. Let's see. Here we go. Try this one. Recently, I noticed a banner on the home screen of the Top Shot app. It advertised $5 pack Grail Seekers. The promo said that in each Grail Seeker pack, there's a 5% chance of unearthing a rare moment, such as a Cade that recently sold for $1,500 or a LeBron moment that sold for $1,500. Implication that was whoever pulled the next one could sell it for nearly $1,500, but it's not quite the truth. According to the public sales data, the only account that had spent close to $1,500 on those moments in recent months is called NBA Top Shot Buyback, which is run by Dapper Labs. The company uses it to buy moments from the marketplace and repackage them in packs. The result is a bit misleading. The last time an actual user had purchased the Cade moment, it was for $1K, not $1,500. The James moment had most recently been sold for $1K, not $1,500. The user who later got it, sold it for $750, about half as much as advertised. I love that this was called out because this was one of the funniest things, because I believe somebody was going back and forth with Alan on Twitter about it. And Alan, who is someone who was like very active in these streets, I mean, he's still very active, but was like very engaging with like content creators and like with, very active. I would say very active. And I would say more positive. And now I feel like most of the stuff, and maybe I don't see a lot of his stuff on my feed anymore. But every time I see something, it's usually him being very combative. But man, this was a great. I love that this was called out, because every week somebody would be like, "Hey, why is the NBA Top Shot buyback account why are they spending so much on these moments?" And it clearly to just commit fraud. Allegedly. Oh, just so funny, man. I'm glad somebody else is calling this out too. As with Flash challenges, the situation raises awkward questions. If Dapper Labs institutes a buyback program that distorts market values, but the buyback purchases are publicly visible, has the company wronged its users? Roham says the institution that recently sold. The insinuation that recently sold is manipulating prices and market action in one direction or another is just not true. He adds, we don't engage in market manipulation. In an email, a Dapper Labs spokesperson adds that the company's legal team reviews all new offerings. There you go. So their case. In any case, some of the company's problems have read less like a moral quandary and more like a PR crisis. At Top Shot, anything that can go wrong will go wrong, says a former employee. Oh, man. I know. I honestly regularly said, where's the Zakarian quote? I am disappointed I wasn't quoted just because I'm a huge Ringer fan. I would have loved to have been included in this. But I will say it's nice to see a bunch of other people say the same stuff we've been saying for 3 years. A little bit of validation there. In February 22, we get the new partnership with KD. 25% increase in buyers from the prior month. Durant himself was curated. Yo, what up, it's KD? Dapper Labs decided to unveil a new product. We got blended packs. You can buy flat rate for $49. Maybe you get a little Lego, including some who received 5 in a row. To make good, Top Shot refunded each person who bought a $49 pack, of which 24,868 were available. It's massive. Durant campaign produced little more than this ad and a $1.2 million refund. I think, was that the Judge Blood Hollows? Is that when he ripped the 5 Blood Hollows on stream? What the beauty of that was, not only did they take a massive risk by putting Judge on stream, but then he was a part of the run of 5 where every single pack was a hollow. Oh, man, we got a Judge reference. We got a Roham reference. You're right. Somebody said this in the chat. We're going to keep doing this, but we need a little Dear Roham.
Dear Roham, I just want to say I'm trying, but all of the packs I'm buying are full of trash, so no thanks. Oh look, another 60K. Drew Eubanks is stupid, and I don't want to say you owe me, but my username's Top Shot Tony. So if you find it in your heart somewhere, deliver me a legendary moment.
What's really funny about this too, and obviously to a much lesser extent, but you know how like in our current state of the world, we're just constantly like slammed with stuff, whether it's, war or trying to take over Canada or planes not being able to land, that you kind of forget all the things that happen. You know what I mean? Because you're just constantly getting smoked with these things. This is what reading this is like, where like I forgot about the Jalen Green thing here. But before we get to Jalen Green, I love this. This is back to the KD thing. When asked about the fiasco, a former senior level employee texted, don't remember this randomization issue in particular. It happened a lot. I don't want to be this guy, but man, was Metz right? was Jay Metz right? This is just so good. Let's keep going. 2 weeks after that debacle, a pricey slam dunk contest campaign with Houston's Jalen Green went haywire. He fumbled the product placement, a video NFT of himself dunking, which played on an iPhone attached to a gold chain necklace, and struggled for several minutes to land a dunk. In this broadcast booth, Dwayne Wade confused Top Shot for Coinbase. Nightmare fuel, says one former employee, not least because Wade had already launched his signature pack with Top Shot, which itself drew backlash. And I forgot about that. Remember when they just released like 275,000 Dwayne Wades or whatever it was? And then there we go. This was the beginning of the end. Woo! This was February and March of 2021, I think, right? And then bang, look at that. 226, 226, yeah. 90, 60, 50, bang. Woo, the slow bleed. Still, Dapper Labs' most consequential mistake, a number of sources agree, was entering into a problematic licensing contract with the NFL. Oh, this is good. Two sides have been in touch about creating a digital football collective for years, and conversations grew serious as Top Shot thrived. New IP could unlock a multi-sport empire for the NFL, which refers to itself as the Shield. Faceless and defiant, Dapper Labs offered a gateway into a future driven by the stars. They secured, company guaranteed its partners a minimum payment regardless of the product's performance. Dapper Labs then hopes that number will be covered by royalties from NFT sales. When times were good, royalties more than covered the Top Shot guarantee, pegged by multiple sources at around $8 million to $12 million per year. The 5% moments trading fee shared by Dapper Labs, NBA players in the league itself, added up to nearly $50 million in 2021. But as Dapper Labs negotiated with the NFL, Top Shot was skyrocketing. Competition for licensing rights were coming fast. Fanatics had already created a Top Shot equivalent. MLB, the Kende, SORARE had launched. What else we got? In this overheated environment, there was very unrealistic proposals being floated around by other companies. To what several former employees considered a catastrophic contract with the NFL and one team partners. The NFL waited, says a former senior level employee who viewed the contract terms. That's the difference between the NBA and the NFL. NBA is innovative, NBA is first. The NFL waited, and when it was time, they crushed us. In exchange for pro football licensing rights, sources say Dapper guaranteed annual payments in excess of $40 million. The NFL and NFLPA reportedly took a stake in Dapper Labs as part of the deal. Specifics are highly confidential, says Roham. He acknowledged that he negotiated the NFL deal, but adds, I think we got good deals. We built real partnerships. Guy who gets smoked in deals says, I think we got good deals. I think we got good deals. To deliver on its own guarantee, Dapper Labs would need its new football product to be nearly as successful as Top Shot. In 2021, Dapper Labs launched it. Quickly, its operators noticed a problem lurking in the data. 84% of all-day signups in the first month were Top Shot users. Huh. Who would have thought that there were just thousands of NFL fans, hundreds of thousands of NFL fans who were just waiting to get into NFTs? Company wasn't attracting new dollars. We were just taking money from one product and moving it to another. That's when I knew we were kind of fucked. There we go. Across all of 2023, All Day's first full year, only 18 million was traded. Top Shot's first full year, 923 million. That's not even the first full. Wow, that's crazy. At the outset of a multi-year contract, Dapper Labs fell well short of recouping, and eventually terms had to be renegotiated. As trouble mounted, Dapper Labs compounded one critical mistake with another, flooding the Top Shot marketplace with new moments. When Top Shot peaked in February 2021, there were about 13 new moments for each buyer. By 2023, 63 to 1. Across 2023 and 2024 and into this year, Top Shot activity plunged. Two sister products. We had UFC Strike and La Liga failed to catch on. In January, Golazos, the La Liga product, recorded 13 unique buyers. Whoo, baby. They caught lightning in a bottle and didn't know what the fuck to do with it. These quotes. Oh, this is so good. This is so good. Oh, man. This just gets better, man. This just gets better. What else we got? A market where Jonas Valanciunas blocks fetches 13K should probably cool off. A Mac Jones pass minted to 10K now carries a sensible $1 price tag. But if a brutal market correction was inevitable all along, and if Dapper Labs' rollicking success depended on shaky external forces, all that only underscores the dangers of contracts that don't make provisions for downturns, as Tedman says, necessitating in an endless peak. Yeah, I think that's all. What is that also called when you use one money? Like in order to make money here, you got to get money here, and you got to get money. A Ponzi. I think it is a Ponzi, right? Dapper Labs, like many NFT companies, cut its staff as prices tank. Guys, listen, I'm not trying to lay claim to any of this. I just want you guys to know we reported all of this. We reported all of this in real time. So remember the layoffs? Anyways, Dapper Labs, like many NFT companies, cut its staff as prices tanked, laid off 22% of its 600 plus employees in November 2022, then 20% of that in February 2023, then 12% of that in July 2023, and still more in 2024. Oh, man, great. Used to be a page on Top Shot's web. Oh, man, here we go. Certified ballers. According to the Wayback Machine, it was pulled down in October 2022, right around the NFT bust. Well, as the market soured, players fared no better than common Top Shot users. For the $412K Barnes invested into his current holdings, Live Token, remember them, a value of around $25K as of Monday, February 24. An unrealized loss of about $387K. Halliburton is down over $56K. Hasn't purchased a moment since 2022. Woo, baby. All right, this is some FTX stuff. Many NBA players declined or did not respond to interview requests for this story. Clay invested in Dapper Labs and collaborated on a custom Top Shot pack. Asked the Warriors whether he might want to discuss Top Shot before he left for the Mavs. Team checked in, but seemed like Clay did not have much interest in Top Shot. Reached out for an interview with Spencer Dinwiddie, the league's most vocal crypto backer, also invested in Dapper Labs, and once told me that he bought and sold Bitcoin during practice, but Dinwiddie also declined. Asked whether Terry Rozier or Tyler Hero, given a Rozier tweeted excitedly about Top Shot and Hero voiced a video explainer. I spoke with both guys, and unfortunately, they were not into the Top Shot stuff. Also, I should say, like, quickly, while we're talking about former players, I don't think it's that crazy for people who were hired to talk about a thing that probably was like a it's like when we do a brand partnership sometimes, and we'll talk about something for a couple of months, and then when the brand partnership's over, if it didn't catch on with the users, we don't talk about it much more after that, right? Shout out the Pokeballs, whatever the hell that thing was called. So I don't think it's that crazy that they don't want to talk about it now. All right, let's see what else we got. Anything else we can get? I want to get towards the end. I know there was a collector score in here somewhere. All right, then Top Shot arrived. Let's see. What does it mean to own a digital collectible? The dilemma looms over all NFT platforms. Let's see. On Top Shot, users don't actually buy the rights to clips, which are NBA property, and don't feature broadcast audio because of licensing challenges. Moments aren't art in any way, says Christiane Paul, the curator of digital art at the Whitney. No inherent or intrinsic value, according to Top Shot's own terms of use, where the point is repeated 4 times. The NBA didn't want it to become a speculative product for our fans by any means. What is it then? Roham once offered that Top Shot is the currency of fandom for all, giving it a democratic shape and purpose. But it's a dubious notion. Fandom is an escape from the daily confines of logic and status. The Top Shot leaderboard, on the other hand, celebrates users who flex their fandom by shelling out on the platform, implying that the bigger fan is the richer one. It's completely backward and calls to mind some immortal words from KD. Who the fuck wants to look at graphs while having a hoop convo? That's great. That's great. There we go. Raptor News said that's a huge name. Sorry, I missed it. Christian, I got you. Let's see. The rocket ship. Here we go. Dapper Labs initially filed to dismiss the complaint, but was denied by District Judge Victor Marrero. The rocket ship emoji, stock chart emoji, and money bags emoji objectively means one thing: a financial ROI. Love this. Love that Top Shot tweets got smoked. Let's see. Anybody else? But the suit will not provide much closure. In April, it was settled for $4 million, meaning there will be no definitive legal ruling on Moments. In the meantime, the NFT whatever. Let's keep going. Phil, former Top Shot user, is that Phil Doucette? I definitely understood that someone was going to get left holding the bag, and I didn't want it to be me. Respect, Phil. Dapper Labs settlement money, which seems low, says Lesko, will first pay off substantial legal fees and then be distributed among tens of thousands of eligible members. Yeah, so we all remember that. Let's see. Most users I spoke with embraced the terms of engagement up front. The product was an unprecedented mystery. Dapper Labs set the pace, and hopefully prices would stay high. What did you expect, says Phil? At the end of the day, yeah, there we go. We already talked about that. Anything else we need to get to? Schwartz, who now hosts a financial podcast, Firmish, I still have the belief that the NBA brand and digital collectibles, and maybe one day another company buys this or takes a different direction and it bounces back. Now it's more than in the longer term, maybe in 10 years, who knows? Roham, striving to create sustainable success. Let's bring in more of the right kinds of people to grow the product, not sort of chase the crypto people. We've made mistakes in the past, but there's some really special, and we're committed to it. We're not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere as much as some people might want me to. Now, that is a quote. I'm not going anywhere as much as some people might want me to. They're great. That's great. Anything else you guys want me to hit here? Last March, 8,400 buyers spent $5.4 million on Top Shot's secondary market, the busiest month since 2022. In April, Top Shot auctioned its Victor Wemby moment for $145K. WNBA moments are now available. In October, a clip of Caitlin Clark sold for $14.5. Then November came. Let's keep moving. I got a hold of former user named Brandon Lieb, 35, who works in sports marketing in Miami. He, like many, remembers the Top Shot glory days, but as we chat, he's surprised to learn the platform is still running. I asked whether he still has the app, and he does. Could he log in? On the other side of the line, I hear him tap around, mumbling as he punches in a one-time code. I think I'm in, he says. He hasn't seen Top Shot in at least 3 years. My collection, I don't believe this. I got a Stephon Marbury, which is kind of fire, a Stevie franchise, a Daniel Gafford. Wow, he's good now. A Dame time, but out of 34,000. Oh my God, I got a KD. He clicks to see a few measly pending offers for the Durant moment to learn that in 2021, the same one, albeit with a superior serial number, sold for $7K. I'm sick as a dog. Now I'm looking at my best card, a rare Jason Tatum. What was my Tatum worth? I don't want to know. I might pass out. I have a Ben Simmons that didn't age well, a Willie Cauley-Stein, for Christ's sake. Anything else? He scrolls and scrolls, thinking happily of salad days, of the electrical group chats, the ecstasy of pack ripping. There we go. Or is it 2031 that he's seeing? This is honestly, how good is this, Sleep says. And here comes a funny old feeling of whistling through. You know what's so good about this, he asks? Now I want to buy another back. He scrolls on. I got a Dwight Howard, a PJ Washington out of 9K. That's a good one. Jamal Murray out of 14K. My Lillard could be worth something. And how about my Daniel Gafford? That could be interesting. That ended so sadly. Oh, that ended so sadly. Hey, that could be worth something. A Daniel Gafford. He's good now. Hold on. Weisberg sent me something that I missed. That was about collector score. Let's see. About collector score changing. I love collector score is replaced by Top Shot score. I love that was referenced. Wow, that was fun, guys. What a trip down memory lane, huh? What a trip down memory lane. Listen, guys, all publicity is good publicity, right? All publicity is good publicity. Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. Good times, guys. Good times. That was good. We extended the show a little bit. My dog's probably furious. I got to get him to pee. But man, that was good. Ending on blind hope. Maybe it's back. Shout out. You know what? Shout out to all the former employees who spoke on that, even if it was anonymous. I think it's good. I think it's good to talk about those things. I hope it felt cathartic. I hope they all got jobs that they're excited about now. And I'm sorry for being a huge pain in the ass. And for Jacob and Steve, who I think are the last two guys there that I know, I love you guys. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry we had to do this. But, it's not you. Jacob, you got quoted, though. You can update get a byline, baby. Update the Twitter bio. All right, I think that's it. Anything else? Anything else we got to hit on that? Fun times. Shout out to First Mint. What are they doing these days? Maybe I give away that NFT. We get somebody else in there. Maybe we do a fun giveaway. I know they just rebranded, right? Or they're doing something different now. How many of the background quotes for Jacob as well? Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't want to speculate too much just because I want them feeling. I don't want anybody feeling like that. I don't want to try to out quotes. I've talked to too many people. That I also know we're talking to them, so I don't want to do that. Tandy, Tandy, former employee. Maybe Tandy does a tell-all book. Tell-all Tandy. Only Tandies? Put it behind the paywall, Tandy. People would do that. All right, dudes. We're going to get out of here. Thanks for hanging out. We'll end with the Team Hold theme song again, though. Why not? Why not? Have a great day. We'll be back on Friday. Well, no, we'll have some stuff tomorrow. New Hoop Sense tomorrow, too. But appreciate everybody tuning in. We out.
Well, the top shot streets are